The rumors that have been circulating around the Xbox camp these last 2 or 3 weeks have been absolutely wild, and they've left a lot of people concerned and upset about the future of Xbox as a brand in total, to the point where people have put themselves out on a ledge to say, I'm no longer going to be a part of Game Pass. I'm going to cancel my subscription. I'm going to get rid of my Xbox. I'm going to get a PlayStation instead. All of this without hearing anything official. Like, I can understand the upset because the rumors were very wide reaching, right? Like, Xbox not going to be doing hardware anymore. Game Pass is going to be changed to the point where I'm not even going to recognize it as a subscriber anymore and won't want to be a part of it. But again, until you hear anything official, you have to treat everything as rumor. So what's been going on for anyone who hasn't really been following this? 4 or 5 weeks ago on this channel, I released a video called Is Xbox Going Third Party? Because there were some light rumors about this circulating. Number one, that Hi-Fi Rush was going to be going to other platforms, which did have a little bit of teeth to it, right? Because it was rated in Australia for the Nintendo Switch. But Xbox has worked with Nintendo with indie-style games in the past. That's how the Ori platforming games ended up coming to the Switch. The other rumors were that Sea of Thieves were going to be coming to PS5 and that Xbox overall would be going third party, but there was nothing to substantiate those rumors at all. So instead of talking about those rumors like they were true at the time, the conversation in that video that I had was, does this make sense for Xbox as a brand overall to go third party in the future? And my opinion was, yes, absolutely, it makes sense. Xbox aren't really seeing hardware growth anymore at this point. They were selling the Series X over the holidays for $350, which is $150 less than the usual MSRP. And the sales growth that they saw during that time were minimal at best. They're also not really seeing a whole lot of growth on the Game Pass side of things either, so something had to change. And the only real way to do that, since they already admitted that losing the Xbox One versus PS4 generation was a big deal. Like, it basically meant that they lost the console war. They're not going to catch up to Sony in any respect. They have to do something different. So this would be a way to do that. So yes, it made sense to me. Now, a couple of weeks after that, things really began to pick up online again, because it wasn't just these minor rumors that were kind of eking their way in the conversations online, but you had people who were known as reputable sources because they know people within the gaming industry starting to say the same thing. Yeah, we hear that Xbox is going third party. Some of the sourcing apparently was coming from a person or people inside of Microsoft who don't want to see this happen. And things just spread like wildfire from there. But we're not going to talk about all of the rumors. At a certain point, we're just going to acknowledge that these rumors were going on for so long online that it was causing brand damage. We talked about that right at the beginning of this video, the way that people were reacting just to mere rumors, right? Now, normally I understand that corporations out there don't like to comment about every single rumor that's bandied about online, and rightfully so, because you don't want to get caught up in that sort of minutia. But because it was causing clear damage to the brand, a lot of people, including myself, were surprised that Microsoft were not getting ahead of that messaging and saying, hey, listen, you need to calm down. There's nothing to worry about. These rumors, they're just crazy, right? Instead, Phil Spencer goes online after too long of a period of time of waiting and says, hey, come see us next week. We're going to do an Xbox business update online and we'll see you there. Not don't worry, guys, nothing to worry about, nothing to see here. Just, hey, we're going to talk about it. We'll see you next week, which only helped to substantiate a lot of the rumors that were out there. And they had the Xbox business update last week. So let's catch up and talk about what they actually said is going to be happening moving forward and what that means for Xbox in the future. So the first thing that they had confirmed was that as far as exclusivity is concerned for their games, they are going to be releasing 4 games on other platforms in the not too distant future. Now, during the business update video, Phil Spencer was like, we don't really want to talk about which games that they are right now. We want to let, the developers, publishers, or whatever kind of make those notifications on their own terms. But he shortly thereafter confirmed in an interview with Tom Warren that those 4 games were going to be Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush, Grounded, and Sea of Thieves. Now, he acknowledged that this is basically a test run, these 4 games, for them to be released on other platforms, right? They're going to put them out there. They're going to see how they do, see what the response is. And there's no promises beyond that, but they're going to start there and learn from this experience and then see what they're going to do in the future. Now, do I believe for one moment that it's just these 4 games that they've talked about that they're planning and that they're not really eyeing anything else to go third party in the future? Absolutely not. I think that what we're seeing is that they know that they have to do this gradually. They have to do this slowly. They have to do this with finesse because you don't want to scare off your current customers, right? People who buy into your platform, they're buying into that platform because they're saying, I want to play all the third-party games that are out there, but I also care about the Xbox exclusives, or maybe they just care about something like Game Pass, sure, but they care about this ecosystem and they don't want to be rattled by seeing it changed too swiftly and too soon. So to keep people calm, cool, and collected during this whole thing, you say, yeah, this is just a trial run. We're not going to do anything to hurt you guys. Believe us. They did say in the business update video that all of these decisions that we do make, they're meant to bolster Xbox as a brand, not to hurt the player base, not to hurt the brand. We're only going to do things that are going to strengthen the brand. So they mentioned some criteria for what allows certain games to move to other platforms right now. And one of the criteria that they've set with these 4 games that they're going to do the trial run with is that these games have already been out for about a year or so, right? Sea of Thieves, Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush, Grounded, none of these are new games. So what I can see them doing moving forward is releasing their games on Game Pass, releasing their games as exclusives to the Xbox brand, but eventually moving these games over 3 months, 6 months, maybe a year later, who knows? In my personal opinion, I think it's going to depend on how any given game does on Xbox, right? If the game comes out and it tanks, you might see that game come to the likes of Switch and PlayStation 5 sooner rather than later. But if they have something come out that's like Elder Scrolls 6 and sells gangbusters for a really, really long time, it might be a little while before you see games like that come to PlayStation. So yeah, I think they're going to look at every single game individually and make determinations based on the performance of those games relative to Game Pass subs, relative to the sales, and then they'll move on from there. Now, as far as the rumors regarding changes to Game Pass, the only change to Game Pass that they noted right now is that Activision Blizzard games, which were being thrown about in those rumors to not be coming to Game Pass because it would have cost them too much money, apparently they've confirmed Activision Blizzard games are going to be coming to Game Pass. Now, they didn't specify anything but one title, which is Diablo 4, and that's coming this March. They've also more or less confirmed that Game Pass is going to remain something that's exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem. So we're not likely to see that coming to the Switch or coming to the PlayStation 5. But is that because that's the decision that they made, or is it because that nobody really wants Game Pass on their platforms, right? If you're Nintendo, partnering with Xbox could be a good deal for you. You could see a lot of return revenue from people subscribing through your platform to be able to access Game Pass. But at the end of the day, what you want to do on your platform is you want to sell games. Do you really want to have Game Pass on there offering a sub to a service that's going to have similar games that you have? Probably not. And Sony certainly don't want to do it. Sony have made it perfectly clear that what they want to do on their platform is they want to sell copies of games. They do not see something like Game Pass as a sustainable sort of a thing. So they're probably not even going to welcome that on their platform. And they also said that as far as hardware and the rumors that they're going to be getting out of the hardware game are concerned, they're not leaving the hardware game. They did not confirm anything. Some of the rumors out there have been saying that, they're going to be pushing up the next console generation to 2026. Previous rumors were that they were going to be 2027 or 2028, which coincides with when Sony is going to be launching their next platform, allegedly the PlayStation 6, right? But the new rumors have been that we're going to see a brand new high-end machine from Xbox in 2026. And there's also going to be a second SKU that's released alongside of it that's going to be a handheld device so that you can truly play Xbox anywhere. Now, those rumors are unsubstantiated, but they did say that there will be some sort of hardware announcement coming this coming holiday season. So we'll see what that's going to be. But I think the most interesting thing that they said in the entirety of the business update is where they see the video game industry moving to in the future, right? They're like, this whole time, the way that this business has worked is that people are sort of latched onto platforms and then they gravitate to the games from those platforms. But we're not seeing that so much right now. They said we see games like Roblox, we see games like Fortnite. These games exist as a platform in and of themselves. They have games, but they have a whole lot of different modes. They have a wildly successful financial model that brings in so much money for these games. Like, that's where we see games sort of going in the future, games becoming the platform. So the fact that they mentioned this and they talked about this, I think it just further accentuates the fact that they see more utility in having games being available everywhere as opposed to just hoarding them for themselves forever and ever and ever. So a lot of people walked away from this business update overall, and they said, yeah, like all of the concerns out there people had, they were baseless. And I don't think they're baseless. I think that what we got here in this business update, while it does alleviate a lot of concerns and make people feel a whole lot better, I do think that there's a lot that they're not saying here. And that's how PR speak works, right? Let's just tell people what they need to hear right now to calm them down, and we'll seemingly try and be transparent by telling them some things that they didn't really know, but without saying too much at the same time. And that's what this was all about. It's about what I expected it to be. But you have a lot of people that are out there online right now and calling all of the leakers out there liars and saying we need to hold these people accountable and, we have to ruin their careers. And I don't think so. Just because something wasn't confirmed during the business update doesn't mean that those things have not been discussed internally at Xbox. And that's what a lot of people don't understand about people who are out there sharing leaked information, right? Information that's being brought to them from people internal at Microsoft. That Microsoft employee, if that was one of the sources, they could be saying a whole bunch of things that they've heard. But just because it hasn't been shared with us at this point doesn't mean that they weren't true. And it doesn't mean that they weren't once discussed internally, even if those topics had been dropped. Calm down. Let's not take our torches and pitchforks again and ruin people online over this, right? Because you don't know if they're telling the truth or not. Again, you have to consider things to be a rumor until they're verified. And things internally at Microsoft and Xbox can change as time goes on. And what's really interesting too has been happening also outside of this business update. Sony have in this same sort of period of time said that we have to do business better. And I think what they're talking about is something similar to what Xbox is talking about with these live service games or games as a service that act as their own individual platforms. Sony have been seeing a lot of success with their own exclusives by bringing them to PC. And I think they're going to be more bullish on that moving forward because they've seen such great success. But also Helldivers 2, that's a very recent success story for them. This game just came out. It's a $40 game as a service game that's exclusive to PS5, but it's also on Steam. And the number of people that are playing on PC alongside PS5 players is astronomical. So I think they're going to see more utility in those day one PC and PS5 games moving forward because they haven't done a lot of that before, right? Like God of War came out in 2018, but you didn't see that game come out to PC until a couple of years after the fact. But these games as a service games, we know Sony are working on behind the scenes. When they come out on the PS5, they're going to be available on the PC at the same exact time so that they can reap all the benefits and rewards from that moving forward. And I feel like we're going to see a lot of this from Microsoft in the future as well. So for anyone out there who is really concerned about the future of Xbox and where it was going to be heading, they're not going anywhere. They're going to do everything in their power to make additional revenue. I think what we're going to see is that they see value in offering everything that they do to gamers in the Xbox marketplace right now. You're going to have your Game Pass. You're going to have your exclusives on there. You're going to have access to those. They even said it in the business update that the way that they see the Xbox brand is that moving forward, it's still going to be the best place to enjoy your Xbox games. It's still going to be the best place to be as an Xbox fan because you'll still, reap the rewards from those sort of programs and Game Pass and things like that. But moving forward, in order to get additional revenue, they see utility in expanding their games and putting them somewhere else. So that's what we're going to see. We will continue to follow these things as they continue to come out in the future, as long as there's a bit more teeth, I think, until more official things happen in this space. I don't think it's really going to be worth talking about anymore for quite some time. So for anyone out there who is ready to just take their Xbox Series console or Xbox One and throw them in the garbage, don't go anywhere yet. Thank you for listening, everyone. You can see that is Xbox going third-party video. There's a link to that in the description below, as well as links to my Discord, as well as Twitch. And I do stream live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope to catch you there. And until the next time I post a video on this channel, take care of yourselves, everyone.